Jacob, like people always want to know, like, what was the outcome of your recruiting process? Um, and like, I guess let's start there. Like, what offer did you get, or whatever you're comfortable sharing.
Do you want me more so to kind of dig deep into like what I did to get to it, or just the outcome itself?
Let's talk about the outcome first, and then we're definitely gonna get to like kind of what you did too.
Yeah, so yeah, I got an offer at a top three bulge bracket bank. Very big global firm, very excited. Um, Definitely owe a lot to it. Starting from this program, people I've met here as well. It's been definitely a stressful adventure, but at the same time, even throughout the process of getting the offer, I feel like I learned a lot already. And the fact that I'm in the process to learn a whole lot more, it's a bit exciting. But yeah, it was definitely hard, but you know,
And I just want to add to that, he actually did get multiple offers.
yeah,
Hmm.
I
So
got a call.
you got a few, yeah.
How many offers did you end up getting again? I think I know.
I got three. So I got the one I have right now, and I got two middle market offers right before the summer. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, so that's awesome. Obviously, a lot of people are just happy to have one, but it's good to have. Some people are able to get multiple offers and actually have the choice, which is always nice. Um, I assume your dad was the first person you told.
Yeah, no, 100%. I remember getting off the phone. But actually, when I got the offer for this one, we were in the car, we're in a road trip, we were heading. What was it on the way back?
We were heading down.
We were heading down to Texas. I was looking into some schools for next year. I'm going to be transferring next year.
Yeah.
Um, and I remember I was on the phone. I didn't know the number, and I answered it, and the lady sounded very familiar, and I'm like, wait a minute. I feel like I know this girl's name. And then, the next few sentences come out, hi, I'm from XYZ. I just want to, this year was very hard. At first I thought I didn't get it. And she's
Yeah.
like, congratulations, you got it. And I'm like, oh my God. And I'm like so excited. I hang up and I just start flipping out in the car and I tell them and they're like they're super excited.
Yeah.
It was
Oh,
amazing.
that's awesome. What did that feel like, Elvis, when you found out?
I mean, it was a relief. We were on pins and needles. You know, but I was excited. I was confident. I know he prepared. I know he had a good experience because he was actually there this summer as
Yeah.
well at that place. So he felt good about it. He told me he did, and I think we were hoping, we were like expecting it.
Yeah.
You know, so actually
Yeah.
would have been a surprise if he didn't get it, but yeah.
What about when you like zoom out, um, and kind of like look back on this entire journey? And this could be for both of you, but obviously you guys have both put a lot of time and effort, just invested a lot of time and effort and even financial resources into this goal and you guys, I feel like you guys were, the two of you together were kind of like marching towards this goal for a while, right? And so, uh, what does it feel like when you like finally come out the other side of it? I don't know, like kind of what outcome you guys expected when you were first going into it, but like, was this kind of like what you expected? Was this like more than what you expected? Lesson, like, kind of talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I will say, I guess kind of coming into the process, um, I definitely, I guess, had lower expectations compared to, what's actually happened. Like, when I think I briefly touched on it earlier, but, finding out pretty early on that I wanted to go into banking was definitely helpful in the fact that, okay, yeah, I got a little bit of time or so. I thought. It turns out I was kind of probably just on time. And, I also did realize like I had, you know, I don't want to say weaknesses, but I definitely had some things that definitely kind of I guess put me behind the majority of candidates I'm going to be going against for these positions.
Mm,
So in my mind, I subconsciously I kind of put top bulge bracket, even the elite boutique offers like out of the question. Like I thought I would have not settle for middle market firm. Don't get me wrong. Great companies, there's very great companies that operate in the middle market. But I thought that was probably going to be like my tip top, considering I'm coming from a non-target.
mm,
Um, but as I went on through the process, I worked hard. I really try to stack my resume, really try to keep the grades up, networked as much as possible, which is also very key. I started to gain a lot more confidence in myself, and I started getting in processes that I didn't think I'd ever get into.
mm,
And yeah, it definitely did change throughout. Like, I think my sophomore year, end of sophomore year, probably mid sophomore year, I was like, wow, I could probably touch a bit higher. Let's go for it.
Mm,
And I mean, I always, and you actually say this a lot, and I always say this to the mentees and the accountability buddies. Cast a wide net. You never know. So yeah, I made sure I networked everywhere. Even when I didn't think I could do it, I still would try. I'd send out emails to them anyways.
yeah,
And yeah, it was definitely a very stressful but exciting process. You kind of learn a lot about yourself.
yeah, for sure.
But
What about you, Elvis? What were your expectations?
Um, honestly, like him initially, I just wanted him to get in somewhere, anywhere. And I figured like if he gets in anywhere, he could work his way up, lateral his way to probably something better. But as he progressed and I saw that, he was learning the technicals, I think Jacob has always been like a very good people person. So I wasn't very, I know he will be likable. And I know that's not something that's spoken much about, but I think it's a big factor when you're interviewing, especially, in a job where you're going to spend so many hours next to
Yeah,
people, they got to be able to like you, you know? So I think he had that going for him, but as he learned, the technical material, and I saw him like, wow, he's really getting this, and I'm like, okay, and the email started coming in for interviews. I'm like, okay, well, okay, nice, and I think that gave him a lot of confidence, and he just continued to network, and he put a lot into the network. He put a lot of hours into that. So, and I think he had came across some people that were willing to help. And, that's why I think that's very invaluable.
yeah,
Just going out there
yeah.
and speaking back. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. I mean, I think that's such a good takeaway for people, which is I think a lot of times in the beginning, especially before you've actually done the work, it's really easy to have a lot of stories or or I'll call them like limiting beliefs about yourself or like what you may or may not be capable of. And that's just because like you don't know what you don't know, right? And and that could be a lot of things. It could be like I go to a non-target school. That could for other people, not you necessarily. It could be, oh, my GPA is not good enough, or I don't know, like I'm not a people's person, or I'm too shy, or I don't know, whatever, right? Like I have no experience on my resume. Like all valid concerns, but also like all things that can be overcome, right? And different people kind of look at a lot of this is I feel like comes down to mindset, which is like, you could like some people will say, well, I'm a non-target school kid, so I can't get in. And then other people will be like, well, has there ever been any non-target school kids that have gotten into banking? Yes. Okay, well then if they can, then why can't I? Right. And so that's like two totally opposite ways of looking at the exact same condition. But I think the other thing too is just like as you actually put in the work and as you actually start doing it and as you start to actually see progress and you start to get the small wins along the way, then your confidence will naturally start to build. And then you don't have to go from like 0 to 100 on like day one, right? Like it's a process, but but you got to put in the work first. And so I think a lot of people make the mistake of just kind of disqualifying themselves or not putting in the work, or some people too, like they put in the work, but because they're not doing it the right way, so they're not seeing the results along the way, or they're not getting those small wins that help them build up the confidence, which is like, if you don't know what you're doing and you have to do a bunch of trial and error along the way, which is how most people do it actually, then it's more likely that you're going to see more setbacks along the way than wins, right? And then that's going to just kind of like deflate your entire confidence, or like sometimes like will stop you in your tracks from actually being able to like get to where you want to go, right? And I think that's where having like mentors or coaches to like who have been there, done that, and can like guide you through the process doesn't mean it's going to be easy, doesn't mean like doesn't mean like it's like you still have to do so much work, right? Like we didn't do any of the work for you, we just like taught you how to do it, but you still have to, like, we're the coach, you're the athlete, you still have to go out and put in the practice reps, you still have to go out and play the game and win the game, and then you lose some games, but then like ultimately like you win more than you lose, and that's how you actually end up building up the confidence that you need slowly, and then like step by step eventually you start to kind of move the goalposts a little bit. It's like, initially, oh yeah, maybe just I just want to get in, and it's okay. Actually, like maybe a both middle market bank. Oh, actually, maybe I can do a bulge back or elite boutique. But oh, actually, now I'm ending up at like a top 3 bank. It's like that's a beautiful thing. But like you have to work, you have to put in the work to make that happen.